Change. I see it in everything. I see it in a boy, rocked by tragedy. Transform his pain and defy reality. I see it in the warrior, who must choose between their new life and the annihilation of their home. I see it in a girl, tortured by revenge, embrace hope when love awakens her heart. I see it in me, a boy born under a bad omen, turn his tale into a legend. Change is relentless, but that does not mean it cannot be beautiful. True nature. Know that you are not alone. Change comes for us all. Chaos has purpose. All of us thrown together, so the flame can burn its brightest. Change. Fight it and fall. Accept it and rise above.
Hello everybody. What an intro, isn't it? Such a cool, interesting, exciting and just amazing intro. Today we're going to be doing something interesting. I already teased this kind of before I started my stream. These kind of things. And I won't be editing out my text for this whole guide, so please live with it. And if you're interested about the guide and you want to see this back, it's all being uploaded to YouTube in smaller parts, so be sure to check it out. You can see it all live here on twitch.tv/JackoFry and trovo.live/JackoFry. So make sure to check those channels out if you want to follow those guys out or follow them live along, right? So what we're going to be doing essentially is we're going to be creating an account on Origin. We're going to dive into how to activate the account. We're going to go through the first steps today of getting ourselves started with the training guide, the settings that I prefer, and you may also want to prefer if you want to play the game competitively, especially if you want to rank towards Diamond, Master, or even Predator. I want to go over some aim-based things, some movement, and of course, when we're landing and dropping, even on new maps, what to look for and how to learn these maps. So that's what we're going to be covering in the next 2 hours, and it will probably be covered, like split up in all sorts of videos, not longer than 10-15 minutes for on YouTube. So that's going to be super interesting. If you're watching on either YouTube, Twitch, or Trovo, feel free to follow along. I'll be answering some questions. That is something I will be editing out for the video itself, which is fun, but I won't be talking about other games so easy about Halo. I won't be doing that during the stream right now. Definitely I don't know if I want to play the game, but I want to focus on the guide for now. So that's what we're gonna do. First things first, I'm gonna go switch to our game scene, and really quickly, I thought when I started the stream I should have done this beforehand, but I want to go put in a display capture right over here, which we're gonna place all the way at the bottom below our game capture. And what I would like to do with you guys right now is get rid of the music here and get you guys first set up with making your first account. If this is really easy stuff, but if you're anything like a Steam player or Origin player, I will show you the Origin way, Steam account, making your Steam account, logging in, download the game, and you're good to go. So first things first, we're gonna go create an account. I've made a special email for this starter guide, and we're gonna have multiple versions of this. So I'm gonna put my date of birth. You're all fine seeing this, no worries. We're gonna accept that, and we're gonna get started with our email, which will be for me the Apex Starter Guide at outlook.com. Then I want to think about the password. I want to think about something safe, easy to remember, something I can keep around. So for that, I'm going to type something down. And I got my password. Make sure it's not hard to crack. Then we're going to think about the username. Usually when you want to think about something that is fun, something that defines you. We, for example, have Easy here in the chat, who is DR33KN or something. I don't know exactly, but Easy has its name. I'm Lama, I am Findable, I'm under many names. But for this matter, I will make an account related to Llama. So let's give it a name. Let's think, just something that comes up. I will call it the let's do Lamere, if that's possible. It's not available, so we gotta think about another name. I think a good one here to do, since we do this on Trova and Twitch, is I will do YouTube Jacko Fry, so that people know that we're doing a YouTube series. I can of course also go for something simpler. If I want to do for this, we can do Jacko Fried. Is that available? No. Let's do a little bit of a Dutch name then. Actually, no. This is the important part. Think about name. I want to go for something fun, like original. So let's do I don't know if that's available. That will be fun. So we can do something with that. Quarantinas. There we go. We got our name. We can do an optional name. We're not going to do that. Then we have to do the human verification. This might be anything that is related to you, that you're familiar with, or in my case, I have to do some like numbers, letters, and stuff. So that's going to be MFCQ, capital Q, 7, capital G, and 7 again. Then we're going to see if that's all right. Yeah, we got that. And that was an important one. How do you want people to view your profile? Really simple. Always say friends. But for this case, we're going to be saying everyone. Then you guys, if you're watching through YouTube or any platform, you want to add me on Origin, you can do so. Do I want people to allow me to find my email? I'm fine with that. Apex Starter Guide at outlook.com. That's where you guys can find me. I will usually say, tick off the extra email spam. And trust me, it's going to be a lot. So just keep that ticked off. Then we're going to create our account. And now we have to activate our email. For this, I used Outlook. So quite priority, I need to go to Outlook. And then right here, we can see that I received an email from EA. You will first get an email that will basically thank you for being with them. And it will give you some information accessing your account, and then you get a code. In my case, this is the code. We're gonna copy that and put that into the browser or into Origin, and now we're gonna get started. And when you then get into Origin, if you're new to Origin, a little bit older, or you have interest, maybe it's with your friend, you need to download the game. Really simple, basically. We're gonna go to Browse. We're gonna go to Apex Legends. So again, browse. You can just hover over. You don't have to click. We just hover over the browse games. go to Apex Legends, and then we click the Apex Legends icon. Then right when I'm in here, we can watch the trailer to see the last trailer that is on there right now, or we can add this to our library, which is what we're gonna do. And the next thing that we're gonna do is download this. If you haven't downloaded it, it will download onto your desktop. I have all my games over here in a games folder. This is a really structured way of working. I like doing that, having my things here for when I do OSTO with friends and stuff. So definitely get that covered. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go into Apex Legends, which is pretty simple, playing the game. And from that field, I will go disable our display scene and make sure that you guys are right tapping into the game. So we'll switch for the time being to the loading screen because we're loading our game. And we're going to get started with Apex and what it does. And I'm not going to play really sweaty, so don't worry. I don't want to be defined as a smurf. I want to walk you guys through the steps of playing Apex, how to get started, what does it mean to play Apex, what is fun about it, what isn't fun, what do you got to keep in mind, right? All of these things I want to kind of try to put on here. And quick one that I want to dive into is for this particular setup, I'm going to be needing my headset because Apex is connected to the microphone. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. We can see it on screen already. Let's make sure that we also be able to hear the actual game right in our beautiful headphones. So let's connect these in. Let's switch to our headphones. And then let's make sure that you guys are able to hear everything that's going on the stream. Let's make sure we connect that audio right over here. And you guys should technically be able to hear Apex Legends now. And we can actually hear it. So that's good. We get a really cool intro cinematic. Let me turn on the Dolby Atmos sound. We're not going to watch through that. This is going to be something you can do on your own terms. And get going with. Prior to getting started here, I want to show you guys a quick thing here. When you go into the menu, you can return to the main menu by pressing R. And when you're in the main menu, one of the things you can do, which is, something usually a lot of players do, is switching their data server. In my case, I can see I have a lot of servers with package loss on there. I will not like being on a server or doing something while it may cost me a lot of data, or maybe things will be slow, or things won't be like I will be hoping they will be going. So in my case right now, I'm going to close out of a couple applications, just making sure that everything I might have opened is closed, so that we have no interference on the data. And in this case, I will probably be wanting to play on the Belgium servers. These are usually really stable servers. So we're going to go into those, and by forward, we need to do the training. I'm not going to worry about legends or anything yet. We're going to go into the training, but before we go into the training, or at least let me go into the training, show you guys the default settings, and then I'm going to show you guys what my settings are and how I run through them. So let's run through this as if it is you, and then the rest we will do later.
I am Bloodhunder. You can call me Bloodhound. Let us begin with basic movement.
So we need to
on your HUD.
We need to do some basic movement. The character standing right in front of us is Bloodhound. He's one of the legends you can actually control in the game. So a fun legend. I will show you guys all about it in this entire started guide, which all the videos that we're having to come and that are coming is going to be super interesting. So we can move move forward by W. We can move left by holding A. We can move right by holding D, and backwards using S. So let's do that. W, A, D, and S. We can then sprint by holding Shift. We can jump by using spacebar. We can crouch with Control. And we can run and then hold Control to slide.
Sliding down hills increases speed.
Quite normal as you're using your mouse to rotate around. So we're gonna slide down all the way over here.
Inside the territories, you can find supply bins that carry weapons and resources you will need to survive. Open one.
So thank you, Bloodhound, for explaining. Indeed, inside of Apex Legends, when you're playing BR, not when you're playing arenas, or actually also when you're arenas, but then there's no weapons inside of them. When you play the Battle Royale, you will find these bins scattered around the area. They all will also have blue bins. They usually cover armor items, shields, and better Evo. But usually look out for those orange ones, as they can have weapons, they can have any sort of materials, and you can find weapons inside of buildings as well. But for the sake being, let's open the bin and see what is inside of it.
Strong work. Grab your supplies.
So in this bin we will find a syringe, which is a item that we can use to heal up. We will find a termite grenade. This is an item that you throw onto people and it will slowly do damage to the enemy. And we will find a frag grenade, which will have a certain explosion radius to which it can damage a player. And the closer the player is around, the more damage it does. So let's pick up these items.
Your HUD will show what you have equipped. Follow the checklist to access and cycle through your inventory.
So really quickly, we will always have the last item we equipped, which was this termite grenade. And in this case, if we want to swap the termite grenade, we can hold G. We get this menu, we see the arc star. You can stick this onto people, but it will have a charge time before it explodes. And it will damage the player. So if you hit someone with an arc star, that will temporarily slow them down. We have the frag grenade and the termite. That's why we wanted to grow the frag grenade. It's really simple. Click the left mouse button, throw it, and you can see while we're aiming, we get this trajectory line with which we can kind of predict where we want to throw it. So if I want to throw it somewhere up there, let's throw it there, and boom, we'll get it up there, and it explodes. Same thing with the termite grenade. We can throw this, find a place, and you can see this creates a line, and if we stand inside of this line, not right now, but if we will be out of the firing range, we will take damage. This part, if we wanted to heal, we can either hold 4 to see all our healing items. We don't have those right now, we only have syringes, so let's press 4, heal up, and get or start listening to Bloodhound's next instructions.
Just a square, 1 second.
Inside the supply bin, you will find a weapon and ammo. Arm yourself.
So in this case, this one had, we call them utilities, frags, heals. These ones have weapons. In here we will find light ammo. This is always orange. That's the way you can remember this is light ammo. And we find an R301, a fully automatic rifle that has quite a decent fire range. Just quite some damage. The fire rate is okay, and it's as easy to hold. Really simple. Do we want it?
As well as the weapon you hold. Grab a second weapon. The field is full of choices.
Before we go,
You can carry only 2 weapons. To equip another weapon, you must swap out the one you are holding. Choose your new weapon.
Before we grab a second weapon, what I quickly want to show, we have all of these targets here. We're going to use these in other practices to train. Really simple. If you shoot an enemy in the head, you will see these orange things pop up. That means that we hit someone in the head. When that's the body, they're red. So keep that in mind. We can, of course, use color adjustments, switch color blindness modes, which might be of your own preference. I like to keep them clean. So next thing that we're going to do is we're going to pick up a weapon. And in this case, I'm going to pick up a Wingman. And a Wingman is a heavy weapon. And that is highlighted by this blue, greenish type of ammo. So this way we know that it's heavy ammo. So if you have a teammate that is asking for heavy ammo, you know that it's going to be this green-blue kind of ammo that we're going to need inside of the game. Same way here, we can aim down and shoot the targets. And we can go loose with it. If we control, you can see that the crosshair, it goes in a little bit. When you crouch, you have an easier way of hitting your target. It will be more accurate than it will be when you're, for example, standing and trying to shoot those same dummies. You can also use this with an automatic weapon, where you, for example, spam the crouch button to hold that line a little bit more straight and make it easier to hit those targets. Try to spray that then at a time. Anyway, we can switch weapons by scrolling down, and we can replace a current weapon with, for example, let's say an energy weapon right over here. The energy weapon has the really light green color, so we know that this is energy ammo. We have all sorts of weapons, and for this case, we will pick up the Volt SMG, which is an SMG weapon.
Apex Legend is communication with your brethren. You can ping different locations, objects, and enemies depending on where you're looking. Follow the checklist to cycle through your pings.
SMGs are mainly known for their accurate, not really accurate fire rate, but mainly close range, high pumping damage. So they fire quick, and they output a lot of damage. And Volt SMG is quite easily to hold. You can see we can kind of make a spray, and we will see more about this in the game. Anyway, to ping items, we will hold the middle mouse button
Here.
onto an item. So if I hover over the devotion here, and I press the middle mouse button,
Devotion here.
I will ping the devotion. If I hover over this ammo here, and I hold or click the middle mouse button,
Energy ammo here.
there we go.
Never
We
mind.
got this going. Then another thing that we can do, if we want to see an enemy, we double tap the middle mouse button.
Contact.
Here we got that. If we hold the mouse button, we get this menu. So we get,
Bless you. Pathfinder will continue your training.
so we can,
See you again, my fellow fighter. We may
So-
even shed blood together.
so we can go somewhere by pinging that we want to go somewhere. This is the default ping. We can say an enemy has been somewhere.
Been through here.
You can say there's an enemy, which is you usually don't want to hold it this way, you just want to ping that. We can say we want to loot this area, attacking here, going here, defending here. And what I want to say right above, the upper three are the most used pings. You barely will find players doing these or spamming these items. So let's head over to Pathfinder. It has some items for us and see what we can get going. I'm not going to show you guys advanced movement right now, which is something I won't be doing right now, but I want to give you guys impressions of you being on your first day, having your first experience, not knowing what is happening or what is going to happen.
Hi, friend. I'm Pathfinder. I'm excited to fight you in the ring, but first, let me give you some helpful tips. Working together in a squad is very important and very fun. Here is your squad mate, a digital utility Mockman intelligent example, or dummy for short. During a match, you or your teammates can get knocked down. But don't worry, with skill, everyone can have the chance to be revived. Just
Glad there's
approach
something
your
good to
dummy
see.
and hold the prompt button on your HUD to revive them.
So as of right now, we need to heal our dummy here. What I want to say first of all, right now we will just do a normal pickup. This is something that all legends will do. Lifeline that you play as right now actually has a drone, which will allow you to walk over to an enemy, quickly click it, and the drone will heal your teammate. Keep in mind it has a cooldown, so if you want to tap multiple people, your next heal will be within the first few seconds. The next heal will be a heal in which you have to heal the way we're gonna heal right now. We're gonna need to hold the button just so that we heal the person. If we let loose of it, we see it lets loose of the healing, so we need to finish this. This takes a bit of time. Just wait
Great.
till you hear this sound where it's like ching.
Now
We can hear that it is confirmed, so this way we know it is done.
ability. You are Lifeline, and you have a health drone that distributes health to anyone next to it. Give it a try and heal your friend. Just hit the tactical button on your HUD.
So for those that don't know what is a tactical, in Apex Legends, every legend has a certain set of abilities, a certain set of powers, or something that makes it unique. Lifeline has an interesting drone that she can deploy to heal her teammates and help them out. Pathfinder, right over here, has a grapple that he can use to grapple from one point to another point, which can be really interesting. And so there's legends with all sorts of other tacticals. We can deploy the tactical really simply, by default, with the Q button.
Catch me up,
And as you can see, it will heal up the dummy, and once it's done, Pathfinder has more info for us.
Helping out your squad is the best, but sometimes they die. Don't worry too much. You still have a chance to bring your friend back. Approach Dummy's stash and grab their banner.
Let's explore this way.
So whenever your teammate is dead, or you kill someone else, this box will appear. This is basically the death box of either your teammate or an enemy. If it is a teammate, there will be an highlighted badge basically above it, and your teammates can ping it so that you know where it is and you can pick it up. When it is an enemy, we can go there and we can loot those boxes. We can do that with teammates, of course, as well, but I wouldn't recommend you doing that. Looting the boxes of teammates is never nice, and usually people like to do their own thing when they do those things. Let's switch to the big screen, by the way. We can do this in the small screen. This is mainly explanation, and you're gonna walk through this anyway. But yeah, let's have a look at that. So we got this beautiful we got this beautiful big box here. We're gonna pick this up
Great. You
and
can
get
use your
going.
banner to bring back your friend through any active respawn beacon. Approach
go
the
this way.
respawn beacon and, when prompted, hold for activation.
So when you play Apex, when your teammates are down and you're, for example, the only alive, or maybe you're playing trios and there's still a teammate of yours alive, first thing you want to focus on, I don't know, enemies in the area. Have I finished off any enemies that are around me? When the chances are safe, and don't just ignore people that are toxic and be like, hey, heal me, and if you don't, they leave the game. Don't worry about that. That's not your fault. That's their impatience. Just want to go at your pace, what works the best for you. Anyway, you have these healing stations. You basically can recognize them by, first of all, this spider kind of format where they have 4 legs and stand on the ground as if it's some sort of a spider. And usually we can see this this ship, this flying ship. It's basically the healing ship, the repair ship. Yeah, this is the ship that we will see when people are being brought back. When you want to respawn someone, you're gonna go over to the respawn beacon and you're gonna hold E. It's gonna take 7 seconds. You can look around you, but you can
That wouldn't be good.
but you can't let loose of the item. So we need to wait till it's completed. And once that's going, what you probably want to do is already start looting the area. But don't loot the boxes around the respawn beacon. They usually have the same bins that you saw in the beginning. Anyway, the ship will come. And our player will drop. Boom.
Welcome
There we
to
go.
me. Here's another thing. Like our tactical abilities, each of us has an ultimate ability that you can use when it's ready. As Lifeline, your ultimate calls in a Lifeline package that delivers all types of defensive loot from large health kits to high-tier body armor. Looks like Dummy needs some stuff. Call in your Lifeline package to help them out.
So, as Pathfinder explains, everybody in Apex has a ultimate. Something that is basically unique to your character. We know that Lifeline has a drone, but she also has something that makes her unique as a legend. In her case, she's a support character, and her ultimate brings down a care package that, for example, can have armor, weapons, or shield potions, or things, shield cells, things that we can use to get better, like heal up, or that will be supportive to the team. Everybody has that. Pathfinder has a zipline, which can, you know, as well as his grapple, he has a zipline that can bring him up from one spot to another. If we want to use our ultimate, we all see, and we can see that Lifeline can place her ult at certain spots. Keep in mind, ultimate, ult. It's just a shorter that we use inside of the game as Apex players. What we're going to do, if we want to place it on a surface that isn't even, it's going to be red. We can click it or try to click it and it won't get there. So to try to find a spot where it is white so we can deploy it, press the left mouse button and it comes down. Keep in mind, this takes a bit of time and don't stand under it. It will show a little explanation mark, not go there. But in earlier updates, and I don't know if that still is a thing, but you could get killed for it. I think it pushes you away right now.
For your friends.
But this is one of the things to keep in mind right over here.
Each one of us has different tactical and ultimate abilities, so give us all a try. I get to use zip lines to reach high places and move quickly.
So yeah,
See you in the ring.
Pathfinder has zip lines. If we open this quickly up, you can see that we find a attachment that we can equip. We find shield cells. We find a backpack, which will increase the size we have in the inventory. And we will find a blue armor. And I'm going to tell you more about that now, because we're going to jump into the firing range. Adjust a couple settings that are likable to me, that will make the game enjoyable for me. And then we just look into our first games and a few things that I want to have prior for you guys down that I take with my students as well. So what we're going to do is right here in the bottom, we have this thing that says crossplay trios. We're going to select that. Now we're going to go over to the firing range. Not the training, but the firing range. And we've basically just been in there. Yeah, I'm gonna do this, like I said, I'm gonna do this for 2 hours. So from 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. Okay, so first things first, boys. What we're gonna do right now is we're gonna go over a couple settings that I want to get over with you guys first. If you press escape on your keyboard or you hold the options button on a controller, I'm mainly explaining this for keyboard and mouse since I'm playing on keyboard and mouse myself, but the steps that we're gonna go through are easily transferable to a controller as well. Let's go to our settings, and inside of our settings, we're first gonna go move towards the video tab. One of the things that us mouse and keyboard players get an access to is the field of view. I always recommend going for 110. It will allow you to see a lot around you, but try to play around with this to your own liking. You know, maybe you're a 90 player or 70 player. What it basically does, if I show this to you guys, if we are on 90, what we have, we know that we can see this right now. But what happens if we put this on 70? We can see it basically zooms in on the spot, but we won't be able to see what is happening right on our left or right side right now. If we set this to 110, just look what happens. The whole gate zooms out, so your eyes are going to be needing to look more to what's happening, but we can see more around us and more what is happening. The next thing that I want to go over with you guys is the FOV. Make sure you disable the FOV ability scaling. What this basically does is if I'm going to zoom in with a weapon, or I use my movement, or anything with abilities, it will scale down my FOV. We don't want that. It's really annoying. And make sure you put the sprint view shake to minimal. This way the camera doesn't shake a lot when we're moving. The settings itself, since it is a competitive game, what I would recommend you to do, if you have a NVIDIA card that is not an RTX card, so you have a GTX card or a NVIDIA just an NVIDIA GeForce GT card like a 720M or maybe a 1050 Ti, or you're gaming on a laptop like I do, make sure that you're set it to enable with boost. I have an RTX card, so I could set it to enabled. This is basically for the higher graphics. Good to keep in mind, every video card has a certain amount of VRAM. I, for example, have 8 gigs of VRAM. If I wanted to, I could set this all the way to 8 gigs, use all my VRAM, which is cool, but like I said, this is a competitive game, so I kind of want to pump frames. I want to make sure that I have this competitive frames, like at least 60, if possible higher, so that I'm sure that when I'm playing, I have the best possible experience, and I know that most of my enemies will do the same thing. For the graphics, just to quickly break it down, the anti-aliasing we set on none. We do the texture filtering on bilinear, whatever way you have to pronounce it. We do the ambient occlusion quality on disabled, the sun shadow coverage on low, the sun shadow detail on low, and basically all the settings we have there we set to maximum left. This will basically increase the FPS. What I wanted to say right away, if you are a laptop gamer, and I see no one doing guides on this, for how you can increase FPS on your laptop or whatever, what I want to make sure that you are aware of. First of all, if you're playing on a laptop and you're not able to change the screen resolution, I will make a separate video sometime showing you guys how you can play stretch resolution on a laptop that doesn't support the NVIDIA configs where you can change the resolutions. What I want to be really quickly with is if you want to really pump frames because you have a low set of frames. What I've always seen used to improve my FPS is setting it to an adaptive 1.2 rate. What it basically does, it looks it to your frame rate to your monitor. In my case, this is a 300 Hz display, and it will try to get as close as possible to that. And usually, for some reason, this really pumps your frames to a higher refresh rates, or to a non-right rate, but it pumps your frames to more FPS. Next thing that we're going to go into is mouse and keyboard. And the first things first, this is by default on 5. Don't play with a sensitivity of 5. It's way too high. You should be going for something that's comfortable for you, not too fast, not too slow. What I quickly wanted to show you guys, I have started once playing on 1.2, I believe. And I will set that for now here. And I will move out of this little building here. And just to show you guys how this works. So basically, what I always do is I have a mouse pad. It's a big mouse pad, and I put my mouse exactly in the middle of my mouse pad. What I'm gonna do, watch the camera closely. I know we don't have a big screen, but watch the camera closely. We're gonna use our hands, and we're only gonna move our hand. We're not gonna use our arm, only our hand. So our wrist, we're gonna move the wrist first to the left, so as far as you can go to the left, and then as far as you can go to the right. So if I zoom in on my hand for a second, what you're gonna do is move your wrist to the left as far as you can, then move it as far as you can to the right. That's what we're gonna do, just to make sure that we have the sensitivity in a way that is comfortable for us. So let's make that happen. Let's go and put the mouse in the middle of our mouse pad. Now move all the way to the left. And from this position, we move all the way to the right. And we can see that with 1.2, with my mouse settings of 800 DPI, which is maybe different for you, so make sure you look in your program. I play with 800 DPI, which is comfortable for me. So 1.2 makes sense right now. I can make a turn that goes left and right. The good parts for me here, by the way, Emilios, thanks for the follow. Really kind. That's awesome. Hey, Jack, can you please follow me? I'm gonna follow you. I don't do follow for follows, man. Anyway, what we're quickly gonna do is we're gonna run down all the way over to this point here. We're gonna grab a Wingman. Keep in mind that it's a heavy weapon, right? It's a heavy weapon. What this allows me, this sensitivity here, allows me to be accurate with my shots, right? I can do easy shots, and it will be easy to track items right here. Keep in mind, if your aim starts to be like this, so it's shaky, we might want to increase it or lower it a little bit. But your aim needs to feel natural for you. It must not feel too quick, but it must not feel too slow either. After this, I wanted to test out what worked. So I started playing on 2. So let's go set this to 2. I started playing on 2. 2 was a sensitivity that if we put it in the middle, I could go all the way back at the back, and if I did this, I could also all the way go at the back. So basically I could always do my flex. And what is this is it is great for movement, but it isn't great for consistently hitting flicks or making sure I can track items really nicely. This goes quite slow, and it wasn't great. This type of movement here was not my type of movement. It made it hard to do shots close up. You can see that now as well, and it wasn't great. So consistently, I moved down, and I moved to 1.8. Same thing. This felt slower, and if we go in the middle, all the way to the left, and now I get only till here, right? And all the way to the right. So this felt better. Got more accurate with my shots, got easier hit targets, and if we then go back all the way to 1.2 again, you can see the same thing right over here. Feels kind of the same speed. This allows you to play with whatever feels right for you. The hardest part here is when I ADS. My ADS is really slow, so right now it will be way harder to do flicks. So you want to sit somewhere in the middle. So for this video, what we're gonna do, we're gonna sit at 1.5, just in the middle. So we can have speed and stuff. And just try this out for yourself. Put your mouse DPI on 800 and try that out. Okay, next thing that we're gonna do is the settings. I'm gonna show you guys a couple settings that I want you to try to get used to, and a couple ways of how you can get used to them right away. First of all, we're gonna go into some competitive settings that most Apex players have anywhere in a similar way. What we're gonna do, W, S, A, and D, we're gonna leave the same. We're gonna get to tap strafing in another video. It's not my strongest thing, so not right now. The shift we're gonna leave on, and the spacebar, we're gonna set an extra option on scroll wheel down. If you want to get used to scroll wheel down and how the jumping works and get familiar with it in a way that it feels natural, what I would recommend is pressing right mouse button on the space, and this way you're only going to use scroll wheel down for jumping. That's exactly what I will be doing during this video. I'm going to remove the crouch toggle, and in my case, what I like to do when I'm running, right, it's really annoying if I have to hold shift to run. And then I have to, while I'm holding shift, I have to move my thumb away from my spacebar and stuff to go below, to click on the control button, just so that I can slide. So what do? I use my crouch at Alt. But this is personal preference. You can go for this anyway, in any sort of way you would like to go. Next part that we're going to look into, I'm going to remove these items here. And first of all, you can see we have Q and Z. I would like to remove my interact, and since I have a Razer mouse, what I would like to do is set my thumb button 4. That is, to be precise, if we quickly zoom in on the camera, right here, this button right over here, it's a little bit hard to see, but this button right over here is the mouse button 4, mouse button 5. We're going to set my interact pickup to mouse button 4, and then I do scroll wheel up for picking up. And I will show you guys in a second why I do that. The ultimate ability, Z, I find that really annoying to press. So we're going to press E to do our ultimate ability. So we already got some settings here, right? The N, alternate, interact, I'm not going to put in. The inventory, I'm going to leave the same. I'm going to remove the I. And then for the map, I wouldn't be wanting to go all the way this way with my thumb. Instead of, I'm playing this and I need to go all the way there just to press on the map. So I always put this on C. This way I can easily press either with my thumb. Thumb is always near C, since you're holding your left arm for AWSD, and if you're right-handed, it will be your arrow keys, and then I would recommend you using Control for landing, but you could use Alt as well, just whatever works for you. Anyway, right here, the next thing that I'm gonna change, again, personal preference, is the toggle fire mode. I'm put that on V. I'm a little bit more comfortable with that. My ADS, I am someone who is really used to playing with hold ADS. Again, personal preference, but I go for hold here. The melee, I'm gonna put to my F, so that anyway, every time I want to punch someone, I click F. Then the weapon cycle, and this is keep in mind, right, since we're using scroll wheel up for interact and scroll wheel down for jump, I'm not able to switch with the scroll wheel. I select this always onto the middle mouse button, so that I have everything on the mouse. I can still use the mouse, and of course the ping is gone right now, but we get at that in a second. The survival item here for me is X. That's what I find most comfortable to press when I need to use a survival item, and we get into that all the way through this guide, so don't worry about that. Then the selected health item. This is what I put on my mouse button 5, so I can open that wheel and look to my shield cells, my syringes, my shield batteries, a phoenix kit, a med kit, or anything in between. Then we basically got most of the things done. Inspect weapon, I will show you guys in a second, really fun. I put that to control. Then for the pinging, I use spacebar. Since I got used to this, I'm not using the spacebar anymore for jumping. So for me, that is the spacebar. For you, this might be the middle mouse button. This might be Alt, this might be Q, this might be the button right next to the one. It is personal preference. Keep in mind, push to talk is T, and push to talk is something that I would recommend to anyone doing, since you can communicate with your team, even if your team isn't talking. So, with all of those settings set, we're gonna go into the gameplay tab. A few things that I recommend people to do when they're more used to the game is put the interactive prompt style to compact. The button hints you can keep on or either leave off. I always leave them on. And I'd like, personally, damage numbers to stack and to be floating. This looks cool. Then the ping opacity, I will put as default, just normal. Orbitories is basically, play kills and deaths. Leave it on or put it off. I personally like a minimap rotation. That's not everybody's preference. So if you don't like it, don't turn it on. Weapon cycle on empty, don't do it. What it basically does is if your weapon is empty, it switches to another weapon. If you are not having, or not, let's say you go with the same setup as mine, this might be interesting or useful for you to use. But personally, you probably would like to turn this off just so that you can cycle between your weapons at your own pace and what is nice for you. So if they're empty, you're not, it's not switching to a weapon that you might not want to switch to for that use case. Right? I will leave it on. but you probably want to turn it off. One thing I do turn on, and we get into that in a second when we go into the movement, is the auto sprint. Being able to automatically sprint, not having to tap a button, is key. It's amazing. For the rest, double tap sprint off. The jetpack control, hold is perfectly fine. You can toggle as well, but hold is perfectly fine. Incoming feedback, I will do both 2D and 3-dimensional, which basically, you know, that just makes things easier. Important one, taking damage close to its death box or crafting menu. For a new player, that is fun, but when you get into the game, or more into the game, you don't want that, because if you want to swap from your current armor that, for example, is empty, to a new armor, that won't work. So I will turn that off. Walk up, you can keep this on. A few more things that I like to turn on is the usage sharing, perfectly fine, but I like to have a performance display, being able to see what is my performance, what is the FPS right now. And I usually disable clip invites. I don't really like having those around. So we got into HD gameplay, mouse and keyboard, video. If you happen to be on the controller, a few things I do recommend you to do is make sure you do the interact and reload button on tap to use, making sure that you don't have to hold something, but you can click once and you got that going. Your crouch, put it on toggle or hold. Your aim button, I prefer hold. Your survival button slot, make sure that is on. The trigger death zones, again, this is all based on your stuff. What I do prefer and will recommend as well is playing with a high to very high sensitivity, just to get that bigger sense. Response curves, I'm not a controller player, so I'm not going to advise you on this, but just play around with this and make sure you turn the vibration off. You don't want to have annoying vibration when you're playing. Audio-wise, keep push to talk on. One of the last things I would like to recommend to you guys is turn the dialogue volume to 35, so when the announcer comes, that doesn't blast your heads out. Make sure you turn the lobby music and music off, so there's no music playing. Keep the sound effects high, and if you want to lower things, you can always lower them. If you, for example, want to hear the voice of your friends, don't put, or you can put this on in the background. Let's say you wanna you're playing with friends that talk in game. You can just head to the background, keep this on, go to the background. Everybody will still be able to hear the game. Okay. With that said, we can go into a few things. So, like I said, we're aiming now. Really nice. We can hit our targets. I jump with the scroll wheel down. I crouch with Alt. I can slide. And we're going to first start with movement. So, to get started with movement, one of the things that you will see a lot of Apex players do. If you go up to YouTube right now and you look up your favorite YouTuber, or maybe you are someone who follows ASUM, so you know, an Apex player that is good at Apex, Shift FPS, it's Timmy, but you haven't played Apex yet. We're just there for those guys. So you're watching these people, really excited. One of the things you'll definitely see them doing is the following. Thanks for the follow, hello from Japan. You have definitely been seeing them running and constantly during the games sliding and directly jumping. This practice here is perfect for that. You see these plates right over here. We have them here, we have them here, and we have them here. And they constantly continue on. The way we're gonna practice, and this is what you're gonna practice when you're at home or before you start playing your game, you're just gonna practice this form, 2 runs, just go back and forward. All you're gonna do is you're gonna run and slide. But the way it works is 1, 2, 3, slide, jump. 1, 2, 3, slide, jump. Jump. 1, 2, 3. Hello? Okay, there we go. So it's basically the way we learn it is we run for 3 seconds, then we slide and we jump. We run for 3 seconds, we slide and we jump. That didn't register. But you want to make sure that you're never sliding off these points here, so that you slide in here. That's not what we want. The distance between the back of this plate and the start of this plate is 3 seconds. So what we will be doing is we will be running for 3 seconds. We will be sliding. And once the slide is on this point, so it's not finished yet, and I will show you guys how far it will slide if we do this. If we run and we only slide, we slide all the way up here. So what we're gonna do is we're running, we're sliding, and we're jumping, so that we jump over these edges. And exactly this movement is the movement, and it looks really weird, but this movement will allow you to move quicker around the map. Let's say you have a friend that is walking in this direction,
Good this way.
and he is running all this time. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do some counting on how long it takes to run from in a straight line towards the end there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It takes us 14 seconds to go here. Let's now run back and use the slide mechanic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2 seconds. We're 2 seconds faster, basically. That sounds really small, but this movement will be the movement that will allow you to go quick from point A to point B. If you wanted to go towards an enemy there, or there is an enemy up here, you can use this thing here to slide down. And to quickly show that and bring that into practice, if I jump on these points and I hold the slide button as soon as I land, I also get a boost forward. So I jump and I hold the crouch button, I get a boost. I jump and hold the crouch button, I get a boost. And you can combine this. You can do your slides and then use another slide to go down. You can use your scroll wheel jump and get around an object. But keep in mind, if you want to practice this, just go stand at the back of this point. Preferable it's all the way at the back there. Run for 3 seconds, slide and jump. And keep practicing that. And once this becomes normal here, it will eventually also become normal in game. And that will be very interesting for you when you start playing the game. And it will allow you to follow along with players that are better in the game than you. Or if you progress to each levels, and you're, for example, level 40 or level 50, or your KDR is really high because you used to play shooters, and your KDR is high, you will start noticing that you get into games with really good players, and you will just eventually start noticing that those players are quicker than you. If I, for example, play with students or have friends of people from the stream joining that haven't gotten an experience, they're usually run like this, and sometimes they slide. This is how I started, by the way. When I started, I just did run, I did these slides, and then just waited till the end, and then I did go. And it was until a day that I got a chance to play with a pro player who explained to me like, no, you know what you gotta do? You gotta go run, slide, and then jump. And this is what I did, right? This is what I did. I run, I slide, and I jumped. And he said like, no, you don't just wait till your slide ends. What you do is you run for 3 seconds, then you slide, and you directly jump. So you do a really short slide and you jump. And I put it into practice. And now I do this everywhere. If I go from one point to another point, I want to do that. When we did a training area, I wanted to constantly do that. And didn't work. Another thing, keep in mind, I put in the pickup on the thumb button. If I, for example, want to pick up an armor, boom. Quickly. But I also put the scroll up, and the really fun thing about the scroll is there's no delay. So if I want to pick this up as quick as I can, there we go, it's as quick as I can. Let's now do that with scroll wheel. That's one scroll. One scroll. I have all of it. And that's clicking. So there's no delay. So let's say you jump, and you land somewhere, and you think of, hey, I scroll, you will be probably the first guy that's picking up the items, the ammo, or all of these kind of things. So keep that in mind. Last thing that I want to go over in the movement section is wall jumps. Everybody that plays Apex and loves the game and gets to a certain point wants to learn how to do wall jumps. It's that what all the pro players do, and also players that are good at the game. We can essentially use this wall here, and a wall jump is essentially scroll down and jump. But if we explain this just at a slow pace for you to understand, the way it works is we first just run towards the wall. Do it a few times. It will feel really odd. It will feel really odd. You will just run. And you touch the wall. Once you got that down, the next thing you want to do is you want to run, and close to the wall you start sliding. But don't start sliding and making it that you end inside of the wall. Start sliding, for example, around this rock so that we're close to the wall. The next step we need to do, and keep in mind that's why we use the scroll wheel down to jump, is we need to scroll and then we kind of glide off it. You see that what we do, we can first practice that with running. We run up to it and we jump. And if you keep, it will start climbing. So what we do is we run, we scroll once down, and we go down. What I want you guys to keep in mind, right? So you're running. Imagine this is the mouse, this is the keyboard. This is the mouse, this is the keyboard. When I run, I hold the W button. I hold the W button down while I'm running. And once I'm jumping, I scroll the wheel to jump. What I want to make sure is when I'm jumping, this button, this finger goes up. I'm not touching the W button. So if I show you guys that on the keyboard right now, and I grab the keyboard here, let's grab the keyboard, and do it like this. If I'm holding the W button, the moment that I scroll down, my hand goes up. I'm not touching the keyboard. So right now, I'm not touching the keyboard. I'm only scrolling down. And what that does, and if we show that in a really simple way again, what it will do, well, you don't want everything to fall down, of course. It's not a nice thing, not a nice feature. Let's clip this back on. So what we want to see is when we run towards the object, we hold Control, in my case Alt. I use the crouch. As soon as I slide, or if we do that simple, we run. As soon as I jump, my hand goes up. I'm now not touching the thing. So if I do this, run, I scroll, and I'm not touching the keyboard. Let's do that again. I run, I jump, and I'm not touching the keyboard. To do this same input, what I'm going to do is I'm going to crouch slide. So I'm going to slide into the wall by, in my case, using Alt. This might be Control for you. So you slide. But before we slide into the wall, we want to also make sure we jump. So as soon as I do that jump, right? So if I move with W here and I slide into the wall, I want to make sure that the moment that I start sliding, I jump. And at that moment, I'm not touching the keyboard. So I slide, not touching the keyboard. So slow motion, I slide, I jump, and I'm not touching the keyboard while I'm jumping. So that is the moment that I'm not touching the keyboard. The final practice will be once I connect with the wall. So once you start gliding off, like once we start like kind of gliding off, slipping off, I can scroll down again. And then I will do a wall jump. But if you time that right, it will directly jump you off it. So that is how we do wall jumps, essentially. Keep it down, start with your essentials, first run up to the wall. Get a feel for running into a wall. The next thing we want to do is we want to slide into the wall. Get that same feeling. Don't make sure you slide at the beginning and end at the wall. Slide somewhere halfway through so that you go fast into the wall. Then make sure you jump onto the wall. Or, if it with sliding is hard, just run to it and jump. Once we have the sliding and the running down, we make sure that we jump. And once we feel that we're slipping off the wall, we're starting to slip down, is when we scroll down. And once we got that down, we're going to try to time it. So we're going to run, slide, and directly jump. And that is going to be the momentum of you jumping. In the next video, I'm going to show you, or in another video of this guide, I will be showing you guys how you guys can do this first simple in this way, where we are going to be running onto a wall, look into the wall, and then jump off it while we'll look back. Or if we wanted to go further even, and use it on this low field, we run into the lower wall and jump off it. And we of course have to do that right, time it right, but then we can do the same thing. So I'm going to show you all of that stuff. What we're going to do right now is we're going to jump into an actual game. You will see me doing basically everything that we have done today. And we just played through a couple games, and I'm going to show you guys more about the map and the knowledge you can build within the maps and the things that you can learn. Basically, essentially, about Apex Legends, their maps, and everything it has to offer. So, let's make sure the keyboard is not in the way. Let's be sure we got that covered. Yes, we do. Oh, let's make sure this is gonna go up here. Perfect. So let's go and move into Apex Legends into an actual lobby and go over that. Keep in mind, Apex Legends has multiple modes. We can do arenas and play 1 versus 3, which is great if you want to get a feel of how players tackle down fights versus multiple people. But you can also use this, for example, when you're taking a fight or want to learn how to consistently take this fight without other teams, we call that third parties, interfering in your fights. But for now, we're going to click the trios. We're going to make sure we play trios and we go ready. Keep in mind, we will always be playing with a group of teammates. And for that, we have the option to turn the teammates on or turn them off. For this case, I'm going to turn it off because I want to show you guys around the map and some things. And I'm going to take Pathfinder. Pathfinder is a legend that I'm familiar with, a legend that I played a lot. And if we quickly go over his skills, we have his passive. You can basically scan beacons, and beacons will allow me to see other parts. We have a ring, we have a zone, and we want to be inside of that zone. And the ring of that zone is going to change. That zone is basically going to get smaller. The beacon basically allows me to see what is going on. But if I use a beacon, it will also reduce the cooldown of my zipline, which allows me to use my ultimate quicker. I have a grapple that allows me to get from place A to, for example, place B. And I will show you guys a couple grapples that I've been practicing over the years that you can do within the game when you get used to scroll wheel down movement. And I have a zipline. This allows me to get quickly from point A to point B. So, we're going to select Pathfinder, and we're going to go ready. Again, I'm not taking teammates with me. I shouldn't be doing that in trios, but I want to show you guys it inside the big mode and everything that it has to offer. But I don't want to disturb teammates by, not working with them, not being with them. I just want to basically go through the game and get to see the things that are possible. Show you guys some things on the maps. So we have to wait there for a second. But yeah, so if there's any questions from the chat, from the live stream chat, be sure to put them down. I love to answer each question you may have. But I think it's really cool, right? We started slow and we're going slowly towards things. I'm going to turn on the matchmaking actually with teammates. I think it's because I'm here as a new player. Someone who is going to play his first game. The game will prefer me to play with the teammates on. So we're going to leave the teammates on. Just wait a little while and hopefully we're getting into a game where we can go explore Storm Point and its beauties and the treasures it has hidden that we can use to get more out of the game. While we're waiting, and I don't know how long it's going to take, I want to show you guys a few things inside of the game. When you play the game, you have a battle pass that is going on. You can either purchase that, but it has... And we get into a game. Always works, always works, always works. Okay, so we're going to get onto Storm Point, and we're going to need to select a character, or legend that we're going to be playing with. I personally prefer Pathfinder. It seems like this person likes Pathfinder as well. We will take Pathfinder. I now have to think about another legend. So for this case, I will take Brave. Brave is a mobile legend, someone who's hard to play with, or maybe not hard to play with. And one of the things I would like to do when I play with my teammates is just saying hi.
Smells like victory.
Just making sure they know I'm here. I'm able to play with them. Someone seems to have a mic. I'm quickly gonna double check if my Dolby Atmos is on. Oh, don't want to turn this off.
I'm the jump master. I'll cut us a path.
I say we land here.
Hello, do you guys have a microphone? So we're gonna need to look around on the map what is on here. We have a couple locations. If you're new, you don't want to hot drop, so you don't want to go to a space where there's a lot of things, like this for example. But these guys want to go here. This is a high loot zone. We know that because there's this blue glow above it. And if we look on the map, we can see that blue circle. So there's going to be a lot of high loot in this area, basically. You can see our teammates are pinging. They might be testing it out, but we know they say there's an enemy there. We don't directly see an enemy. We can look around. I don't see anyone going with us, or at least there we go. We have a team, but we can hold the right mouse button to freely look and see what is around. First things first, we have these grapple lines here. We can use those to grapple up, and we can use the button here to basically spam them and touch an object, and this way we will be basically harder to be hidden, to be seen. Usually up here there's a lot of snipers, so we will take a sniper, and we can see that we already kind of got loaded up here. And there's might be enemies down here, so we have to have a look around. Right up there I see a blue Evo shield, and the way Evo shields work is basically they charge up by doing damage. So if we quickly get over here and we are able to grab this blue armor, and we do, then we are gonna see that this armor is gonna go up based on the damage I do.
Keep eyes on the new kill leader.
Reloading.
Giving my shields a recharge.
So we know the enemies, there's one enemy up there.
Fire, friends.
Taking a knee. Patching up.
So I'm gonna drop down, use a heal.
Shields.
They're above me. I'm out of shield cells right now. And I'm taken down, so right now I know this is not going to be okay anymore. My teammate is luckily still alive. He drops down to take the next fight. There's a lifeline right over there. So she is dangerous. And we're taken out, so we know, okay, that's a problem. Like I said, I'm not trying to win a fight right now. I'm not trying to be the best. The whole point of this account is to get you guys an idea of the game. How does it work? How do things go? But right now, we're taken down. This is what you will see when you are being taken down, when you need to fight. And we know that we have a teammate that is still kind of fighting for us. He's still trying to get a win for the team, to get things going. And unfortunately, he has been taken down. Might be wanting to shoot the enemy, hoping that, or kick him. So we're taken down. We go back to the lobby. So, like I said, you don't want to drop on a zone you don't know. If this is something that is new for you, you're not familiar with, don't drop there. That won't work. It won't be a good solution. So I was like back on Pathfinder. And what I quickly wanted to show you guys, you have a battle pass. It has a lot of tiers, probably familiar to you, but there's a lot of fun things that you can get for free. Another fun part, you have all your legends, and your legends have skins, and you can obtain all of these through playing the game. So don't worry about that. We also get these Apex packs that we can open, and they sometimes have fun items in them. So let's see what we have here. We got a purple, so we got an epic here. And what epic do we got? We got a skin for the bow check, which is a bow inside the game. And if we want to equip that, we can just click on equip, or we go over to our loadouts, we go to marksman weapons, select the bow check, and we can find the code of honor. And if we will select our default skin, which is going to be in the bottom, we will find the skin right over here. Then we go out and we go back. We can now see that it is right here in the purple section. So we have legendaries. These are usually the cool skins, things that are useful. And we got the purples, and these are the epic skins, are usually like these camos that have some interaction in them or some color changes. Really, really cool. So yeah, when I Pathfinder one more time, and then in the next guide I'm gonna go with you guys over more movement, but actually also how can you get towards getting your kills, and how do we move towards playing the game, getting used to taking fights, and how do we take fights. And we're gonna go through that step by step, so that by the end of this starter guide, you're able to play Apex at a semi-competitive level. You're able to play and get the kills, and you're able to do movement that most players that play competitive or that are a little bit more experienced with the game do know. And this will for sure give you a massive advantage when you're playing Apex. It will make the game a lot more enjoyable for you, basically. It will really allow you to get to a good point within the game. So, let's do one more game. Let's take a fun drop. Let's look through the game. Again, I'm not gonna try to get killed. If I will, it's gonna get really difficult matches, which won't be fun for you as a new player, right? The experience won't be optimal.
Introducing your champion.
Again, I'm gonna say hi to my teammates. Just to make sure, hey, are my teammates there? Do they want to chat? Maybe they do. So someone wants to go there. In this case, we want to play with the team. We want to communicate with them. And maybe we want to suggest a location. Let's say we want to go. Okay, let's go there. So and drop. I wouldn't see too many people going here. There might be. There's a big map, so there's a lot of opportunities. We want to stay out of the middle. There's going to be prowlers there. These are animals that will attack you. And let me say, they're semi overpowered. They can do quite a bit of mean damage to you. Trust me on that one. So we find a triple take here. And a player. Oh, and he's punching me. I'm just letting him punch me. Get the experience right. And now he's dead. And he knows at that point probably as well. I'm not trying to kill him. Not trying to win. And I don't want to have too much kills. So we got someone down. He did leave the game, I can see there, because we're getting that early damage. We got some shield cells, and this is great. And we can use this to get going with our HP here. Our shield cells, we can use those to get more armor. And the small cells, they give 1 bar at a time. 1 piece of armor, basically. And the syringes will heal you for a quarter. So you're gonna need 4 of them to be fully healed up, basically. If you are completely taken down. We don't have more, so we're gonna need to find more. We'll probably take a little item there. Then we have these ultimate accelerants. They basically boost my abilities. So if I will be using this right now, I will see that this is going to give me an thing. You can see my ultimate is 90 and now it's full. So thanks to the ultimate accelerant, I'm able to place this zip line that I, for example, can place there, which will not be, right now isn't a really good zip line point, but I can go here and take this advantage right here. And if I wanted to quickly take a super jump right here, all you do is press your scroll wheel, which is for me jumping, and your interact button at the same time. Remember, this is my interact button, and you will do that super jump. So yeah, right now all I wanna make sure to do is that I have armor, I have shield cells, and I have heals. So we have a thing there that someone can take. There was a nice drop down shield there. And right now, I just want to go around the map. Right now, you're exploring the map. Get to know the area. We know this building. If I want to play in this building, I know that I can use this bottom area, but this will not be good cover only for people that are right there and right there. I could use these upper levels to, for example, try to shoot at someone who's right over there. Or through the door right over here, maybe coming from the super jumps, the gravity lifts. I don't really say this special word, and I can come on it right now. But these gravity cannons, we could call them. They basically do that, and we can use this upper part to play with. What you see, and again see me do a lot, is this movement. As Pathfinder, remember, you can do these really cool grapples. So if I grapple onto this and I use the scroll wheel and get these larger boosts, there's not a massive boost, And if I do that on the ground, I can even launch myself up by using the scroll wheel. So we have to wait 16 seconds. I use the big grapple, so that's gonna take a bit of time. We're here with the team. So they're not using their movement. You can actually use way better movement. But yeah, we can do this type of grapples and get from point A to point B. We hear there's people shooting here. So I might want to get a high ground position. So I'm going to go climb onto this box here. But I can't get from there. So what I can do here, climb on this fence. Come on, climb me on the fence. Climb me on the fence. And I use the fence to climb on these boxes. Now I can get onto here. And I can hear they're fighting in here. So I'm gonna try to place a zip line up there. There we go. And now with the zip line, I'm up here. You can hear them fighting here. They're busy here. Someone is already shooting at me. Not visible for them. Here we got a shot on them. Pushes them back for a second. The one that's down here. Got a hit on her. Now let's use the shield cell to get a little bit of health back, not all of it. Now, I'm missing a lot of shots. That can happen, of course. We have a shield cell here that I can use. The R99. You can see that this teammate wants to get healed, so... First, I will probably check first around if there's enemies. Let me check around if there's enemies. And from a new player perspective, not really a clue what I'm doing right now. And I do see my health is down, so probably want to heal this quickly. First things I probably want to search for right now, some shield cells. So that I can do more heals, right? And we want to get those up, right? So I want to be able to do good heals. I do hear someone walking again. They're at the back here. Or down here, right there. So I know there's going to be competition there. Let's go take this zipline here. We're not good with the health, so we want to be careful with that. Let's go down here. At the back here. We're gonna take in the house, they're gonna probably go up here. Either using the window or the door to shoot at me. This is what I will predict here. I broke the armor again, but there's still a mirror behind that. I know this person is here. I will try to kill her. I failed there. Here I use some movement again. And I killed the lifeline. Now I do the armor swap so that I quickly have that covered.
The next ring is quite far. Reloading.
Attention.
And like I said, you constantly want to think about what you're doing. So I'm using an armor swap. I don't really care about the fact that I have a lower armor now. What I want to be thinking of is the fact that I don't want to take too many hits, or I don't want to die, for example. I need to think about the best way to survive. And I'm like also constantly listening what I hear around me. Do I hear enemies? Do I think there's enemies close? I do hear shooting in the distance. I don't see enemies, so I'm gonna heal now. and use this heal to get that little portion of health that I still have. And trust me, every single piece of health you have in the game, you will be using. You wanna keep. Again, I think that was my teammate shooting, but I'm still gonna check if there's someone in this house. You never know. There's no one, and now I can keep going. And you see, right? I'm constantly using a little bit of the movement. I don't want to try to get 5 or 6 or 10 or 12 or 20 kills, but it will be really fun. But I wanna start slow. I just wanna go with it. Don't look like I know too much. Okay, I know my grapples. I know my grapples. But that will be really it, right? So I'm gonna look behind me, just checking if there's enemies. I haven't really touched my ADS aim yet. I can do that, but I will not want to do this right now here. Might want to increase this to 1.2, just so that the optics are aiming a little bit quicker. Let's get onto the roof. Maybe not the best grapple. But I want to stay kind of in this area just to get an idea of what is possibly going on over here. My teammates are doing some pinging, but I'm gonna need the ammo. My R99 is low, so we want to make sure that that is having a little bit more ammo so I can do my thing. Same thing when enemies are pinging, your teammates are pinging enemies. Just think about, are my teammates being shot at? Some teammates will just ping enemies for the sake of hoping that you will like bite into that and take that. I'm gonna take the Wingman, which is a harder weapon to shoot with, but as a new player, I'm interested in this weapon. I want to learn what a Wingman is about. And maybe I hit some shots, or maybe I don't. I'm probably gonna need to find that out in a little bit when I start doing my first shots with it. So I do know there's gonna be someone down there, and I know there's enemies there, so I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back, and this is something that you shouldn't be doing. You shouldn't be going alone, but I'm going alone. I saw someone walking here. 2 people actually right there. And I want to go, of course, take those guys down. Prepare. They shot me. One is taken down. They're coming as a team at me. I think these are Smurfs from the looks of the fact that he already has a red Evo. Hey Dimi, how are you doing, man? So we got taken down. This allows me to look at the Pathfinder's profile. He has his stats hidden. So, quite simply, they're gonna go back for my banner. They know there is an enemy team there. It was my call to go there, but as a new player, and that can happen, of course. I can go somewhere where that one, but you always want to stay with your team. Always stay together. So we know there's someone with a red Evo here. Not trying to absolutely kill them. They got my banner. Maybe they go for the fight. You can hear there's people fighting. In this case, if I was the player, I will be fighting. I would go for the team right next to me, not the team right in front. Why would I go fight these guys if I hear that there's people fighting at my right side, right? But we keep an eye at this. They were fighting at the right. And these people are really much aiming, they're not moving. They're really predictable, really easy to shoot at. So as an experienced player, these guys are pretty much the easiest targets to shoot at. That was a wasted thing there, but you can see the Bloodhound knows movement, he knows what he is doing, he's doing a lot of jumps and stuff. So this is probably an experienced player, which most people around around Apex don't like. You can see he is moving while looting, so he knows exactly what he is doing. So the Bloodhound is smurfing. We know that, really simple, because of all the movement he's doing is high kills. what you can do, and I will show that anyway because I think it's a good thing to do, report them for smurfing. These guys are players that have a good experience with the game. They know what they're doing. The Pathfinders is alright, but these players, they know what they're doing. And the chances are that they're cheating or anything because they're low level, right? But this player knows what he's doing. He knows how to take his fights. He knows how to deal with things. So we can look right now. Is this guy going to be having... He has recall, so probably not cheating. But he knows what he's doing, right? So he uses his movement. Maybe not perfectly yet. But definitely not a brand new player. We're in the lobby with low levels. So definitely not a new player. So yeah, for now guys, what we're gonna do is we're gonna break this up. I'm gonna play a couple games on my own, just on my main account, get things going. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna stop streaming Apex on any games at the moment. I'm quite tired. We have been live effectively for almost 6 hours. So I want to thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this guide, this first guide into Apex Legends, getting started with the game and the things I do as a player, what I think about in a slow pace, so not at rushy sweatiness, trying to get as much as possible kills, being the best player at the highest attitude, the best thing out there. So effectively, hope you guys enjoyed this guide. If you want to see more of this live, you can visit me here on Twitch at twitch.tv/JackoFry, or you can visit trovo.live/JackoFry. Both of these channels will allow you to effectively join us on the live days. We're day 1 right now, and we're gonna move Twitch this, and I will leave all the video or all the live streams, and then we'll make smaller parts of them, each part on its own, each match on its own, which you can use as a cover to walk through to get better in playing Apex, get better at starting with Apex and all the things. And the next time that we're gonna do, so the next day, I will say tomorrow, but you never know. The next day of this guide will go more into movement, and we're gonna talk about how we can compare this movement with cover instead of Apex Legends, which is going to be a lot of fun. And of course, don't forget, we're gonna dive into how to do these sideways wall jumps, where we can wall jump off an object. I will show you how you guys can do it on keyboard and mouse, but also effectively tell you how this can be executed on a controller. So if that is of interest of you and it is cool, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're on YouTube, and make sure to follow here on Twitch and Trovo. And don't forget on YouTube to turn on the notification bell. And if you do leave your notifications on for Twitch and come by on the next live stream, that did be amazing. But long story short, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun, and I hope that we are gonna see each other soon here again, and hopefully till next time.